Hey everybody, it's Galmadex, and welcome back to another sealed event of Kaldheim. As I've said before, we'll be doing some more sealeds in the upcoming days, as we have a sealed Kaldheim Arena Open coming up, and a sealed Invitational Qualifier in next month for the Strixhaven event. So we're going to get some practice with the Kaldheim sealed format for these big events coming up. And we'll see what we can do here. So we have Birgi, God of Storytelling, and Magda in red. So we've got two good red rares, two good blue rares. Cosmos Charger and the God of Storytelling are our best rares, I would say. Battle for Bredegaard's generally pretty unexciting, spitting out two 1/1 tokens and then maybe copying both of them if they're still on the board by the time they hit 3. So very slowly for 3 mana you're getting 4 1/1s, which can be good with a bunch of support for it, like things that care about having a lot of creatures out, but definitely not as exciting as potentially the Horn of Bounty here on the back half of Birgi. Allowing you to discard a card and then draw 2 cards basically every turn in the late game, really fueling you to outpace your opponent in terms of the amount of stuff you're casting. So really solid bomb there on the second half. Even the first half allowing you to boast twice can be relevant, not super often, but just a 3 mana 3/3 that can add mana is a pretty relevant front side to this card. Whenever you're stuck on mana, you can't make it to the 5 for the Horn of Bounty. And then the Cosmos Charger, 4 mana for a 3/3 flash flying is already really solid in terms of limited stats, and you could foretell this to cast it for only 3. And if you have other foretell cards, it allows you to foretell at instant speed and for only 1 mana. So really cool there. And then Mystic Reflection's just fun stuff. Sometimes it's really good, sometimes it's not. If you have like a really good creature on your field, then you can make it so the next creature you play comes into play as a copy of that. It's really good with like Dwarven Reinforcements. You could play a Dwarven Reinforcements after this, and then make your dwarves just the best creature on the board. You can also use this to basically blank your opponent's bomb creature, or their planeswalker even. You could just be like, all right, your planeswalker is now just a copy of my 2/1 dwarf token. So pretty fun card, definitely playable in limited. It's not the craziest bomb or anything. It's pretty situational, but sometimes it does go off and do really fun things. And then Magda as well, pretty similar. Not super bomby of a rare, but definitely a good card we're absolutely going to play if we end up in red. 2 mana for a 2/1, buffs all of her dwarves, and creates a treasure token whenever a dwarf becomes tapped. So all by herself, she's a 2/1 that can ramp us up into later plays in the early terms. If we play this on turn 2 and then attack on turn 3, we can cast a 4 mana spell on turn 2, or 2 2-mana spells on turn 3, I mean. So pretty good. And then Kolvori is just not good in limited generally, especially not in sealed. Maybe in draft you could draft enough legendaries to do something with this, but this only works if you're in like legendary tribal. Otherwise it's just a 4 mana 2/4. So definitely the worst rare of the bunch, I think. Pretty solid rares overall though. Pretty solid rares overall. We're gonna hope that we have enough red to combo with our good red rares, and enough blue to go with our blue cards. So what do we have in all of our colors here? White actually seems okay. We've got Clarion Spirit, we've got Bound in Gold. Those are the most exciting cards in white. This potentially giving us a 1/1 flyer every time we're casting 2 spells in a turn. This Bound in Gold getting rid of whatever threat we need to deal with. Stalwart Valkyrie's usually pretty good. Story Seekers are nice on 2. Actually got a pretty good curve in our white here. We've got a 1-drop, 3 2-drops. This is a much better curve than I had in any of my colors in my last sealed. Oh wow, our blue looks pretty exceptional though, so I think we're definitely blue. But yeah, our white looks solid. We even have Spectral Steel. If we end up really aggressive, we could go for the enchantment equipment kind of deck on throwing those on Story Seekers or Battlefield Raptors or something. Iron Verdicts are okay. Divine Gambit can be okay. You just don't want to play this till the late game. If you play this before like turn 5, you're just going to get got by it. They're going to play something bigger than you can deal with at the time. Got 2 Snow Plains as well if that matters, but it probably won't. So this is like our white stuff here, maybe even a Wings of the Cosmos, but generally pretty exciting white in general. Pretty solid, but definitely nothing incredibly bomby. So we'll see our blue now, where we've got actually a lot of rares. Double Bergstrider's pretty huge too. We do have a Snow Island to go with the Bergstriders. I don't like the Brine Barrow Intruder. It just tends to be too small. Bind the Monster can be good against aggressive decks. Even in sealed, you will run up against aggressive decks sometimes. I do like all of the runes, since they draw a card when they come into play and replace themselves. Mystic Reflection, we already talked about. The Harbinger, 2 mana, 1/3 seems fine. Depart the Realm, probably wouldn't really play this unless I have a lot that cares about foretelling. I guess I have Cosmos Charger, but unless I have like the Inga Rune Eyes, or not Inga Rune Eyes, that's the different legendary. The Vega the Watcher, the white-blue owl that draws a card every time you cast a foretelled spell. I'm not that excited about Depart the Realms, so I'm going to cut them for now. Raven Form as well. It's just not the greatest. If you think of this like one of the enchantment-based removal spells in blue, it's like a 3-mana enchantment that turns their creature into a 1/1 flyer. That's just like so much worse than Bounded Gold, which is a 3-mana enchantment that just completely shuts off their creature. So Raven Form is generally pretty unimpressive removal. It's really... The fact that it exiles the thing when you cast it, at least for me personally, made this card look so much better than it was when I looked at it at first glance. But you really have to just think about it in your mind for like what it's actually doing. Like, just think about it as an aura that turns it into a 1/1 flyer. And it just immediately looks like so much of a worse card, because that is exactly what it's doing. It's just a worse Bound and Gold by a lot. Run Ashore could be actually okay in sealed because it's slow enough, but it's not a card I've played a ton. I do like that we have Augury Raven with the Cosmos Charger. We've got Inga. We've got Behold the Multiverse. Our blue is so solid here. What do we have in black? We've got not a lot of black cards, but 2 of them are awesome. And they're removal spells. I'm trying to click on black, not the arrow. Alright, Feed the Serpent and Poison the Cup. Really good removal, but then everything else in black is actually pretty mediocre. I mean, the Skull Raids, we got destroyed by Skull Raids in our last sealed. So this actually does seem pretty okay in sealed. So maybe we run those, and then just a bunch of mediocre creatures. None of these are very exciting. So a few pretty good black removal spells, but that's about it in black. And our red does look solid. Ooh, and we got a blue-red Giants card, Agar here. That's pretty cool. Oh, we got a Runed Crown to go with our blue rune. Alright, what do we have in red? I like Fearless Pup. I like the Frostbites for sure. Magda. Run Amok if we're aggressive enough. Obviously going to play our rare Horn of Bounty here. Basalt Ravager can be good. Double Giant Craven Hulk if we're playing blue-red Giants. That'll be awesome. Could play the Seize the Spoils because they give us a treasure token when we're drawing off of them to help splash things. If we end up trying to do that. So I guess I could throw them in for now. Red looks pretty okay. I think red-blue is looking solid. It's where our rares are at, and it's where one of our best uncommons is at as well. How's our green looking? Our Kovori looks pretty bad. That is our green rare. It's just not exciting. Our Eyeside Troll's probably not great. How many Snowlands do we have? Wow. We've got 2 Snow Duels, 1 Snow Forest. Maybe like green-blue we'd have enough snow to go with Eyeside Troll, but for now we're really trying to pick up Snowlands with Horizon Seeker, using Glittering Frost and stuff for our snow. There's Struggle for Skemfar. The green does not look very deep to me. Like maybe the Path to the World Tree is also just one of our best green cards, and that is so hard to do in sealed, going for the 5-color thing. We do have the Sentinel to help us tap for a mana of any color if we are going for that, and the Glittering Frost. But, oh yeah, the green's very thin in terms of what it has. Like, this is down to like just the playables in my opinion, and they're not even that great. So I'm not liking green here. Although we've got like double Herald maybe for green-black elves and warriors. But just not a lot of black creatures either, so Herald isn't even likely to hit anything because we just don't have very many creatures in those colors. I definitely think the sealed pool is leaning me into blue-red Giants. We even have double Bloodline Pretender. Naming Giants off that, trying to get a lot of tribal synergies there. Let's see how this looks. We actually don't have a ton of Giants, but double Bergstrider. We've got good Giants. Agar, double Bergstrider, double Craven Hulk. throw in all of our blue cards, throw in all of our red cards, and then start cutting some stuff. Could even play a pick here, maybe. Maybe Raven Wings. I don't think I'll be playing a Raider's Carve, though. Alright, 15 cuts to go. If we play every single blue and red card, this is a 55 card deck. Not generally what you want to do in Limited, but we've got that option available. So, Smashing Success does basically nothing. Destroy an artifact or land. Get that out of here. Raven Form, I don't really like. Shackles of Treachery is not good without a sacrifice effect. Run Amok, you do want to be really aggressive for Run Amok. I'm thinking that's not going to work out here, although it is very, very good when you're really aggressive. I'm going to take out the Depart the Realms as well. Our curve really starts at like 3 or 4 mana, and we have generally big creatures with 4/4s and 5/4s, so equipment actually don't seem that good in this deck, outside of the fact that we have Rune of Flight, but we could Rune of Flight on our Runed Crown, we can Rune of Flight onto just a Berg Strider itself without needing to put it on equipment, and it would still be solid. Cutting out the Seize the Spoils here, because I don't think I'm splashing anything in, although we can take a second look at that. 20 creatures right now, so we could just cut like 5 creatures, call it a day. Because I do think all of our non-creatures now are very solid, except maybe Run Ashore. Still have never cast this card in my life, but I've ran it like 2 or 3 times, just trying to see how good it was, because it has been pretty good against me sometimes. Mainly just annoying, though. So, maybe cut out the Thought Thieves here. Our curve is getting really high if we do that, though. Because even the God of Storytelling will be trying to cast as a Horn of Bounty a lot of the time. Bloodline Pretenders, I guess they aren't even that good in here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 giants. But we do need 3 mana creatures here, so I think I'll leave them in. I think I like them a little better than the Thought Thieves. Still. 5 cuts. If I cut Run Ashore, a couple Thought Thieves, and then like some of these 4 mana cards maybe. Fearless Pup isn't really doing anything here outside of being a 1-drop. Neither is Brine Barrow Intruder. They're just like, at least I have some cheap creatures. They are very low impact on the game though, so maybe I cut those out. 16 creatures this way. Kind of a slow curve, but we have Bind the Monster and Double Frostbite. 3 really good removal spells for just very quick decks. So if somebody's trying to like to out aggro us, we just try to slow them down with Bind the Monster and Double Frostbite. And if we're playing against a slower deck, we're just trying to beat them by having bigger creatures, hopefully, with all of our 4/4 giants and our 5/4s. This looks pretty fun, looks pretty solid. Little red-blue giants deck here. Let's go through and see if we'd really want to splash anything, throwing in the treasure token cards. Our black removal's good, but it's not very splashable. I guess Poison the Cup's splashable, because if you foretell it, you only need 1 black mana to cast it, instead of 2 black mana. Maybe we could splash like a Poison the Cup, but yeah, no, there's just nothing all that splashable. And again, Gold Vein Pick, we just do not have the early creatures to support that, although it is good in draft. And Raven Wings actually would be solid in here with all these big old 4/4s and 5/4s in the late game. Maybe we'd like a Raven Wings in here, but it doesn't combo well with Rune of Flight because it's already giving flying, so throwing a Rune of Flight on it does literally nothing. And that would be the biggest reason for putting more equipment in here would be to get more targets for Rune of Flight for a permanent buff. So that's kind of funny. But I do think it would be solid in here with all these big things. We do already have some flyers, Cosmos Charger, Augury Raven, and the Rune of Flight itself. Maybe we don't really need a Raven Wings. But I don't think you'd really go wrong putting it in here. We don't have any removal for late game threats from our opponents, which I am not a fan of. Because if they just play a big bomby kind of card, it is going to take over the game, so maybe we do have to put a Raven Form in here. I don't love it, as I said before, but I don't like having absolutely nothing to deal with anything with more than 2 toughness. I guess Bind the Monster can tap down anything, but That's just a 1 card to do that, so I'm going to throw a Raven form in here. Raven we can foretell, Cosmos Charger we can foretell. So we got one more card, probably one of these mobs. Just because it's a not a relevant creature type, probably our weakest creature for its cost. Outside of maybe like a Harbinger, but I do want to have the 2 mana creatures to go around. We've only got 2. I feel I really can't cut the 2s. Alright. Here's a 40 card. Blue-red Giants, sort of, sealed deck. In sealed, your themes are going to be a lot less clear. It's just going to be your good stuff in your best 2 colors. So this is just blue-red good stuff, really. 12 blue symbols, 9 red symbols means that a 9-8 split seems pretty good to me. Let's get this off the ground running, see how well our blue-red sealed deck is going to do. See if we can't go off with a Horn of Bounty in one of these games. It would be even cooler to go off with Mystic Reflection, but we didn't end up with any Dwarven reinforcements, so we don't have anything that'll play multiple creatures in one turn to try to, like, create multiple copies of a bomb that's on a board. But we can still use it to try to shut off one of our opponent's bombs late game. I guess we have that as removal. So maybe we don't need the Raven form and we could just use Mystic Reflection as that kind of removal. It's pretty much just as bad as Raven form if we're using it as removal, but it has the versatility of being able to use it the other way as well. I'm going to keep this. We have all 3 of our cards that are good at slowing down aggressive decks. Bind the Monster and double Frostbite. So certainly hope to see a Plains or a Mountain from our opponent. Just start playing some cards, get attacking real fast here. Opponent did start with a Snowfield Sinkhold. White-black decks can be pretty aggressive, but they could be playing that just for snow mana. Snow mana is very scarce and limited. Oh, so happy to see a Clarion Spirit. That's a fantastic target for Frostbite. Clear that out before it gives them any value. Now I get to Behold the Multiverse. Terrible auto tap. We're going to hold up red because Bind the Monster is not an instant. But Frostbite is. Mistwalker from our opponent. Bind the Monster is going to be real good against that. Maybe the auto tapper just knew that we were going to want to Bind the Monster Mistwalker. Although it doesn't have flash, so it doesn't matter. I'm just going to cast Behold and Bind the Monster here, so it doesn't really matter the sequencing, but I'll Behold first to see if I draw land, which I really want to. Runed Crown is actually going to be really good here with Bergstrider and Craven Hulk and Haji Mob. So I do want to draw both of these, although I do want to hit a 5th mana. I don't need the 5th mana immediately, because I do have Craven Hulk next turn no matter what. So next turn I can cast Craven Hulk, turn after that I could cast Rune Crown, and that is all if I'm stuck from my 5th mana. If I hit my 5th mana, I get to just play a 5/4, or I get to play a Bergstrider to really do some solid stuff there. Bind the Monster on Mistwalker is about the best you can do with Bind the Monster, because you're getting rid of a pretty important threat and a really good blocker with a card, and it's only dealing 1 to you. Uh-oh, Mythic Rare God here. Haka, Whispering Raven. 2 mana for a 2/3 flyer. When it deals combat damage to a player, return it to their hand and scry 2. And if they ever cast the other half of it, it gets +1/+1 for each card in your hand and each foretold card you own in exile. At the beginning of their end step, choose a card type, reveal the top 2 cards of your library, put all cards revealed this way into their hand and the rest on bottom. Oh my god, so it just sits there drawing cards, like throughout the game, potentially several cards a turn. That's pretty terrifying. Kind of want to just slow that down with a Bergstrider for now. Frostbite cares about snow lands, right? Oh, it cares about snow permanents. So if I draw one more snow card, I could kill Haka. I don't think I have that many snow permanents, though. I need to draw... I've drawn my only snow land. I need to draw another Bergstrider. Or... is that it? Yeah, that's it. I would need to draw another Bergstrider if I want to be able to do 3 with a Frostbite here, unfortunately. I do think I still want to slow it down for now, though. Obviously, it doesn't feel great having used the Bind the Monster on the Mistwalker instead of the Haka, but we didn't know Haka was coming, and Bind the Monster is really good on Mistwalkers, so if our opponent just did something like play a Axeguard Braggart or something turn 4, we would have been super happy with Bind on Mistwalker. The only reason we're unhappy is the fact that they did have the really good, really low power Mythic Rare to follow it up. Alright, Judge of Valor's here. They're not going to block Bergstrider because it would die. So I can send in with that. If I want to, I could also just play a Runed Crown to pick up my Rune of Flight and then equip it to Bergstrider so I have blocks unless they have a removal spell. Actually seems solid. And I draw a card doing this. Pick up a Raven form. Can use that on their Whispering Raven. Yeah. Gotta suit up the Bergstrider and just chill for a bit. See if they have the removal here. They do. Exile that Bergstrider. So they hit me for 4. Return the Whispering Raven to their hand. Scry 1 to the top and 1 to the bottom. If I want to play a flying blocker here, I have to play something that costs 3 or less, so I have to just play my Harbinger. And that's it. So I play Harbinger and give it flying as a blocker, or I'm just casting a big old 5/4 mob. A 2/4 lifelink is... just the lifelink is pretty huge. Pretty important. I don't think I want to Raven form that, though. Because if they just cast this out as the... as Alrind, God of the Cosmos, then they just... that secondary effect, drawing extra cards every turn, is going to be a pretty insurmountable task to get past. I do have a ton of cards in my hand right now, so if they get a bunch of value, probably fine for a little bit. I still don't think I want to Raven form the Judge of Valor just yet. We'll play a mob first. Mob also gives us a card that can immediately just shoot their 1/1, so we've gotten rid of the downside of Raven form by doing that. Because now I could spend 3 to Raven form, spend 2 to just kill the bird when I attack, which is kind of hilarious. It might not be what we want to do, because we probably want to throw like a Rune Crown on or something. But that's one way to deal with the bird token you give your opponent. Shepherd of the Cosmos. What are you grabbing? Clarion Spirits. And now they get to cast their second spell for the turn. That's pretty brutal. That's pretty intensely brutal. That was a fantastic Shepherd of the Cosmos. Because now they're drawing a card off of Firja, and they're getting a spirit out of Clarion Spirit. Good lord. I don't think I can get through this. This is ridiculous. So if I attack with the mob, I get to shoot their 1/1. If I don't attack with the mob, I actually do have a flying blocker. I'm at 13 here. I kind of think I need just a flying blocker. But I have to spend 2 to equip, so that I'm playing Inga Rune Eyes to scry 3 and equipping here. I do want to hold up a Frostbite, kind of. But I also want to just Frostbite Clarion Spirit. I could play Inga and give Inga the Runed Crown. Yeah, if the mob can't fly, it's not going to be a good blocker anyway, so I'm just going to send in the mob. I guess by equipping the Inga with the Runed Crown, I'm not holding up a Frostbite. Assault Ravager coming up. I do have a Harbinger that's a wizard, so I can definitely do 2 off of it. Cosmos Charger might be better, though. Just get another flying blocker. Although with the Runed Crown, we can turn anything into a flyer. I'm going to grab the Ravager first, but I do like both of those cards. Alright, opponent. Well, that's about the best Tergrid's Shadow I've ever seen. Yeah, we super lose. Opponent's deck was nuts. That was absolutely brutal. See what we can do in our next round here. That was round 1, right? Alright. Heading into round 2. Yeah, I've got a Frostbite to deal with early plays from our opponent, and we've got a real solid late game again. Our opponent's foretelling a card turn 2. We drew our foretell card on turn 3, super awkward. Would have been really good last turn because then we just have it on the board now. And now we're probably not even casting it next turn because I have 2 other 4-mana cards to play with. I think I'm just playing a Craven Hulk because then I can go Craven Hulk into Bergstrider into Basalt Ravager and do a ton of damage with the Ravager. And get some big 4/4s attacking on this field. Opponent has 5 cards in hand. They're playing green, black, and white with 1 snowland. They could potentially just be playing the Woodland Chasm as a tapped snow forest. So maybe just green-white here. Well, I mean, that's a combo. Tap down our Craven Hulk and then shoot it with Iron Verdict. That's one less Iron Verdict to use on Bergstrider. Which is just a strictly better Craven Hulk here. Being able to actually block. Bound in gold. And a Shimmerdrift Veil on red. So 3 color here at least, red, green, and white. Bloodline Pretender on Giants would probably be the play. Could play an Augury Raven here, so I could play Bloodline Pretender for birds and then cast Augury Raven, have a 3/3 here along with a 3/3 flyer, and then they just cannot attack with that champion unless they kill both. That might be better in the immediate future. It is a changeling either way, so it will be my 3rd giant for Basalt Ravager, so Basalt Ravager gets to do 3 damage when it comes into play now. Either way. I'm going to play it as a 3/3, so I'm almost certainly holding off the Goldmaw champion now. Alright, and they do just play a Ravenous Lindworm here, so I think I'm going to hold the Multiverse here. Find the monster and an island. Play that to tap that down, sure. Let's take some damage here. Sit down, Lindworm. They can attack with the Goldmaw Champion now if they spend the mana to tap down the Bloodline Pretender, but they're only hitting for 2, and I crack back for 6. I am down to 10 though, so could still be bad. Next turn I can play Basalt Ravager to just kill that Goldmaw Champion though. Alright. Alright, here we go. Combat time. Looks like the tap is coming on in. Gold Maw Champion, the little boy that could. I want to see what his boast says. Every single boast card in this format actually has flavor text that is whatever the character says. You know, the character boasting about their abilities or something. So it says, that was nothing. I once took down a frost giant with a spoon. Yeah, that's pretty nice. That is pretty nice. Ooh. Magda makes it so whenever they attack whenever they tap my Bloodline Pretender on attacks, I get a treasure. That's pretty cute, but we are just going to kill Gold Maw Champion now anyway. But it does also give Bloodline Pretender +1, which makes it big enough to block the Rootless U and kill it. Basalt Ravager's big enough too, so I'll just attack with both of these. I also get the treasure token to spend on a Frostbite here. Magda actually pulling off the severe combos here. So if they attack with the U, I will be trading with Basalt Ravager. They can pick up another Ravenous Lindworm from their deck if I do that. So I guess maybe if they attack without casting anything, I'm supposed to just take it and go to 3. Because then 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, I actually don't have lethal on board. Yeah, it's going to take 2 turns for me to lethal them either way, so I probably should trade with the Rootless U even if they have another Lindworm in their deck. Opponent is in the think tank. Clarion Spirit coming out. Can I kill that before they could cast another sorcery speed thing? I'm holding full control to see how priority works here. Try to kill that before they cast anything else. If they have an instant here, I guess they get a 1/1. But they have to use it right now, so I'm stopping them from using like a combat trick. Oh, just an Iron Verdict? Okay. Well, we killed the Clarion Spirit at least. Didn't kill the flyer though. Ooh, Mystic Reflection? Basically just counter their next creature now. Don't need to Frostbite their flyer. I can just send in with these two. Dealing 7. Probably chumping with Magda. Pretty low on life. That's pretty scary. I'm really chumping. They have 1 card in their hand. I crack back for 7? I think I just win here. I'm not even going to shoot the flyer, because if they play another blocker that has 2 or less toughness, I don't win unless I kill it. If they have a removal spell, though, if they have another Iron Verdict, they do just get me here for Exactsies. I think Frostbite does it for me here. Because she'll have already left the battlefield, so it just won't work. Yes! Oh, thank you, Frostbite. Mystic Reflection wouldn't have done it, because I could Mystic Reflection to make that a copy of something else, and then the something else just gets to block. I guess I could have doubled up to be super safe and Mystic Reflection that into a 1/1 spirit, and then just shot the 1/1 spirit before blocks. But I was pretty sure Frostbite on Sigrid works in response to her ability to stop that from going off, and it certainly did. So that was a really solid Frostbite there at the end. We are 1-1 now. Heading into round 3. I keep this hand. One of the fastest hands I've had. Playing against a red deck with a tapped red-green Snowland. Play our Carfell Harbinger. Cast Behold the Multiverse next turn now, but if our opponent plays a Boreal Outrider, I believe I would like to kill that before they potentially get +1/+1 counters on anything. Now I'll just foretell a card, not behold a card. I think I'm foretelling Behold the Multiverse. Get a hit for 1. Get that extra damage in there. Craven Hulk. Alright, can't block alone, so I get to get in for 1 damage this turn as well. I think I'm casting Behold. Trying to hit some more lands. Double Island is not exactly what I'm looking for, but I guess I don't really need more red sources. Even just Double Island does work to get me to 5 mana for Bergstrider. Bergstrider is my only 5 mana card, though. I've got a lot of 4 and less, so I'm just going to hit 1 land here and then draw whatever the next card is after that. Magda. That's actually pretty cool because that's castable here. Not going to be blocking Craven Hulk because it would just be chump blocks, so we'll send in for the 1 damage. Five mana up for our opponent, no blocks. 1 foretold card. A Grizzled Outrider here. Alright. Assault Ravager does 2 damage right now. It's not going to kill any of their big green stuff, that's for sure. If I attack with Magda, that gives me enough treasure to play Bergstrider here, but I'd have to play it after combat, so Magda would just die into the Outrider. I could Raven form, but then Magda trades with that. Just play a Craven Hulk here and get ready to double block their 5/5 with a 4/4 and a 1/3. Seems okay. I can also play Bloodline Pretender on Giants. I've got a lot of Giants in this hand. I've got 4 Giants here. If I play Bloodline Pretender, I can play that and foretell our Raven form, but then we're just taking all that. Or I double block, trade Magda and Pretender for the Craven Hulk. I actually don't really like that. I'm going to play the Craven Hulk, which gives me much better blocks than if I play Bloodline Pretender and foretell a Raven form. That being said, they could always have Run Amok or Mammoth Growth, any of that kind of stuff. And any good blocks I could have are just nullified. Even just a Demon Bolt to kill the Hulk. Struggle for Skemfar would be disastrous. But that is a sorcery, so we know it's not struggle here. It could still be like Run Amok. I was supposed to throw that on the Grizzled Outrider, but guess I'll do this for fun. Trade 4/4 for 4/4. I get to keep my Harbinger here. This is actually fine. I don't know why my brain just went to blocking that when I should have. The whole time I was thinking about blocking the Outrider. It's still a fine trade. We just took an extra damage when we didn't need to, and now I have to kill that here. That's actually going to pan out really poorly for me, because now I want to shoot their 3/2 down, and I'll have to double block and actually lose both of these creatures against their Grizzled Outrider. I could just take 5 here and go to 6. It's not a comfortable total, but especially if they just throw a counter on Outrider, I'll just take 6. Seems fine. I have a ton of big creatures coming up. I can double block that later. We do have the 5 mana now, so I can play a Bergstrider, but I don't have any snow mana to keep something tapped. But I still do like getting a 4/4 out that can block even without another creature. Like Craven Hulk can't block alone. Could also Raven form Outrider, but then I am taking 1 in the sky every turn. I don't have any flyers to block. This is where Raven form is quite bad, but we did just need more removal. Even if it's bad. 6 mana available with Harbinger if I'm casting instants and sorceries. But even then I can't double spell with Raven form. I guess I could Bloodline Pretender in Raven form. Bloodline Pretender doesn't fly or have reach though, so I think we're just gonna play the mob, I guess. I think I'd like to keep my giants around more than my non-giants. We're probably just dead here. If that was Demon Bolt the whole time, so if I went for the double block on Outrider, they could have just Demon Bolted. I have to chump or I die here. Did get the Snow Island for Bergstrider. That is not why I didn't cast Bergstrider there, but it makes me look real smart. I only have one snow source in this deck. That's why I wasn't really considering that as a factor towards not casting Bergstrider, but it certainly worked out there. I do have enough mana to play Pretender on Giants and then Craven Hulk, and now I have a ton of blockers. So I get to attack with Bergstrider. Definitely not attacking with my 4/2 into a couple 1/1s. They can double block and trade there. Now I have enough blockers to double block Outrider and only lose one creature. And then potentially just get in attacking. And Masked Vandal from our opponent's pretty bad on Pretender. Now I have to double block and lose both creatures to kill Outrider. Probably still worth it here, because then a 4/4 can deal with all these 1/1s on their board. Our only other option is to chump block, and chump blocking is horrible here. Grizzled Outrider, alright. Get another blocker, but not one that can kill flyers. Now I double block Grizzled Outrider, I lose my 4/4, I have a 2/2 against this field. Is that better than Raven form? Raven form on Outrider, I just guaranteed die in 5 turns. If they attack with everything, I double block there, lose Bergstrider, keep a 2/2, take 3. I'm at 3 life, I block there, take 2, go to 1, I block there and die. So I die faster. If my opponent plays well, I die faster without Raven forming. They could block with everything to kill Bergstrider here. That looks like it does not happen. Still die pretty fast here. Especially if they don't all attack there. Or, I mean, especially if they did just hit all attack there. They foretold a card, so they actually drew something. If they have a single removal spell, I just die immediately. I don't think I can really attack here. Best case scenario, I'm killing a 1/1. Okay, I have to hold off. Like, if they just top deck a Masked Vandal and I attacked with Bergstrider, I immediately die to that. Yeah, this is really unfortunate. This is what I hate about Sealed, honestly. Is that, like, I'm gonna die because I cast a Raven form on their 5/5, but I basically literally had no choice but to run Raven form in this deck because I don't have anything else in blue or red in my Sealed pool that can kill anything that big. Except for Bind the Monsters, which I am already running in here. Alright, well, 1 win and 2 losses. Does not feel awesome. But again, if I'm going to get some 1/3/1s, let's get them out of the way before we get into the big high money roller events. The Arena Open coming up next week, February 20th, and the Invitational Qualifier in March. I do have to hit Mythic again to do that, but I'm sure I will. Play enough Kaldheim drafts too. I've still got like 2.5 weeks to hit Mythic, and I'm in Diamond right now. We should get there. I do still have to get ready for the Standard event coming up. 2 weeks out? Yeah, the Mythic Invitational Qualifier starts the 27th of February. So I've got some big, scary, stressful events coming up. Next Saturday, February 20th, is the Magic Arena Open that will be sealed. The Saturday after that is the Mythic Qualifier, which is going to be standard. And then at the end of March is the Mythic Qualifier that will be sealed again. All right, see if we can't get some more wins here. Sealed prize support is really abysmal if you just care about gyms, so you really have to win a million games. Well, that's unfortunate. I guess a draw has occurred. You really have to win a million games to get your value back out of it, it is rough. We have to get 6 wins to literally just get our gyms back. Another reason I'm not a big fan of sealed, but I'll do what I gotta do to get that practice in. Gotta love how, I think the last 3 drafts I did, I've gone 7 wins and then 6 wins each time, so I'm just like getting massive gems out of it. I think I went up 5,000 gems lately in drafts, and then sealed is just immediately throwing all those gems back into the garbage. Toss them in the bin. Well, that's a mulligan. This seems pretty sweet. If I ever frostbite a 1 toughness creature, Agar draws cards off of that. Could be cool. I do need 3 mana for both Agar and Cosmos Charger, so I guess I have to get rid of a frostbite, but I don't want to. I certainly don't want to. Battlefield Raptor from our opponent. Well, get Frostbit. We're not going to draw a card off the Frostbite either way. It's not dealing excess damage, which is what Agar cares about. So we may as well Frostbite right there, so I can foretell Cosmos Charger this turn. Do I want to play an Agar into a Craven Hulk, or do I want to just play the Flyer? Kind of like Agar into Craven Hulk. Part of what I like about the Charger is because it has Flash, I can play it out of nowhere and kill like a 2-power creature by surprise. Plus, if they have any enchantment-based removal, like Bound in Gold, that's it's much better to get that out of the way on Agar than it would be for them to use it on Cosmos Charger. I do get to draw a card if they block here off the trade, so I'll allow it. And they might not block because they could fear a run amok or something. No blocks. Alright, come on out, Craven Hulk. Red-white dual land into a gold mod champion. I've got 5 mana now. I only really need 3. I think we send in with Craven Hulk. If they double block, we deal excess damage to one, draw a card, and get something off the board. Don't think that we attack with both of these, though. Could even Raven form on their Doomscar Oracle, then they only have 3 power of creatures to block with, and Craven Hulk gets to get in there. Doesn't seem the greatest, though. Just send in the Craven Hulk. No blocks. Cool. Hit him for 4. And get ready for this Cosmos Charger. I don't know why the auto tapper is so bad at playing this game. Wants to use my blue mana again. Axgard Braggart, sure. That can get really big and real scary, really fast. I do like that card a lot. Gets a +1/+1 counter and untaps for 2 mana anytime it attacks. Go ahead and drop out the Charger now, so at least we get to start sending it in the sky here. Do have the Raven form. Now I have a flyer to block it at least. Don't think it really changes stuff. I think I still get to just send in with these two right now. Do the double block. Oh, I get to kill an Axgard Braggart now? Heck yeah. Must have really wanted that Doomscar Oracle. Oh my god, the auto damage is so bad too. I should have drawn a card there, but the auto damage decided to do 1 to Goldmaw Champion for absolutely no reason. I'm just gonna turn full control on for the rest of this game, because apparently that's what you need to do on Arena. Just play with full control on anytime you have Agar. There, auto-assign combat damage, we just need to turn that off. I hate that so much on Arena. Just the little things like that, where the auto-tapper and the auto-damager and stuff can just completely miss what your cards are doing. When it's such an easy shortcut in a paper game where you're like, yeah, I'll draw a card there. And they're like, oh yeah, that makes sense, that's how it works. I don't have any more giants, so I'll just trade here and draw a card. Should have another card in my hand here, which is pretty irritating, I'm not gonna lie. A little salty about that. Dragonkin Berserker. Well, we found our Raven form target. Because they are 100% getting a dragon token out of that next turn. Wow. Alright. We have draws. I guess they have Raven Wings, so I'd prefer Bergstrider first, but I do still like flyers. They're down to 9 now. Funeral Longboat, so they can crew that as a 3/3 Vigilance. And they can crew it with that 1/1 bird. If they just crew Longboat... Oh, it doesn't have haste. There's no reason to crew Longboat right now. So play Bergstrider, tap down the 3/3 flyer, so I can hit him again. They can crew Longboat in response for blocks, but that's fine. Just won't attack on the ground this turn. Yeah, I wouldn't have attacked on the ground even if they crewed it, even if they didn't crew it. Because it's just going to trade there either way. This 1/1 bird isn't doing anything. See if they draw into another creature here. If they don't have another creature, they only have 1 blocker and they're at 6, so they're actually just dead on board. Because crewing the Longboat requires tapping one of their creatures, so either way, whether or not they crew, they have 1 blocker. At least 2 creatures get in for 3 damage apiece. They do have a removal spell for Bergstrider, so now I'm only getting in for 3, but I'm still attacking with both here. Trade Inga for the Longboat. Gold Vein pick? Okay. Maybe I don't attack with both here. Maybe I just attack with Charger. No, I think I do attack with both, because if I attack with both, I know I get in for 3, which means that Augury Raven next turn with 2 attackers. would be more likely to be lethal. So we trade for the longboat here, hit him for 3 in the sky. And if I draw into any removal, literally any removal, I could kill their 1/1 bird. And hit him for lethal next turn. They do have 2 flyers though, so we need to shut one of them down, but we only need to shut one of them down. Another Raven Wings, okay. Just make their flyers as big as possible, so we trade on both blocks here. Mystic Reflection. Do I want to clear the board, or do I want to wait? I guess wait we shall. You can have a grounded 2/2. They do have another Raven Wings though, so they can throw that onto there. Whatever my next creature I draw is, I can Mystic Reflection it for only 1 blue mana thanks to Cosmos Charger's ability. So I can turn whatever my next creature is into another Cosmos Charger or an Augury Raven. Just get more flyers. I do need to draw another creature for that to be an option, though, which might be a problem. Certainly not a problem for our opponent so far. Yeah, Rune of Flight doesn't do anything here. Everything already has flying. I don't have anything that would get rid of a Bound in Gold, so Rune of Flight, I just throw it on a land or I throw it on a creature that already has flying. I think I still need to just draw a card here, though. Whatever, we'll throw it on Bergstrider. Maybe I forgot about something that would get rid of the Bound in Gold. Oh dear. Our opponent could be one of the really aggressive kind of Boros decks, and they're only running like 14 or 15 lands. So, I don't want to be too salty about the mana situation. Although I am still miffed about Agar not drawing us 2 cards. Opponent's got 2 cards in hand. They're thinking about them. Could just be thinking about whether or not they want to get into combat here. It's not actually that risky at this point. They are foretelling a card. But of course they don't know that. Ooh, Bergstrider. I could have this Bergstrider become another flyer, but their whole board has flying anyway. So I kind of think I want to just keep it as a Bergstrider. Just a 4/4, the biggest creature it could be. And we get to tap down their Goldmaw champion. And then I get to attack with both of my flyers. They trade with 1, but the other one they have to actually just chump block. That actually seems solid. If I attack with both flyers here, they kill Cosmos Charger by trading it with Axguard Cavalry, but then Augury Raven just gets chump blocked, so I get to kill one of their creatures. I get to kill 2 of their creatures at the cost of 1 of mine. So this is definitely a good attack. Unless they've got a really good Foretold card or something. Alright, it's looking solid so far. If they don't have another creature or removal spell, just get there. Shepherd the Cosmos. Is there any way I can win with a Mystic Reflection here? No, but I can make it come into play as a Battlefield Raptor so they don't get something back from their grave. And they only have chump blocks this turn. So I mean, that's close to just winning. Yeah, I can't have it come into play as like a 0/0 or something. So they will have enough blockers here no matter what I copy. Well, they've got 2 mana up now. Is that enough to make one of these raptors have 3 power? I don't think so. They just have Gold Vein Pick that costs 1 to equip, the rest cost 2. So they can throw a Raven Wings on something to make it a 2/2, or they can put a Gold Vein Pick on something to make it a 2/3. Either way, they have to just trump with both next turn. Assault Ravager? Well, I could just do face with that. That's really rude. I guess I just win right now instead of just clearing their board. Thank you, Assault Ravager. Although, I feel like that was just a rude draw. It was not entirely necessary there. We're 2-2 now. Go at least 2-3 out of this, although 2-3 does not net you a lot of stuff. 600 gems in 3 packs. As someone who just generally does not value the packs you're getting out of this, we're trying to rally up to 6 wins. Let's go. Let's get all the way up there. Let's not drop a single game. Come on, blue-red. Good stuff. Blue-red sealed stuff. I'm very glad that I didn't lose that game, because I couldn't help but feel that Agar not drawing us an additional card would be a factor in us losing that game. And it wasn't even like a misplay, it was just Arena automatically was like, nope, you don't draw a card. So I'm very glad that that came up in a game that we managed to win anyway, so that I got to go into my settings and set it to where I can actually just assign the damage myself, so I know I can actually use Agar's ability instead of it just automatically not working. Like, it didn't even ask me how I wanted to do damage. It was just like, nah, you don't get to draw a card. That's not a thing we're doing. So glad to get that out of the way in a game where it wouldn't matter at the end. I like this hand a lot. Magda ramping us up into some beefy stuff. Now that I've drawn Raven form, I definitely like it less. I kind of want to cut Raven form out of here. Raven form has definitely not been fantastic. But I have felt like, you know, there's some games where it is kind of just gonna be necessary because we don't have anything else for big threats. Our opponent's on green-black here. Starting off with a Death Knell Berserker, 2/2 Elf Berserker that spits out a 2/2 zombie if it has power 3 or greater when it dies. And a Horizon Seeker from our opponent. So I could Rune of Flight here so I know Magda gets to get in every turn and make treasure tokens every time. And with that treasure token I get to then foretell my Cosmos Charger. Sure. I am just taking 5 after that though. So I'm going to start getting hit a lot. Rune Crown. Oh, well, that's so awkward. Draw my Rune Crown immediately after I play my only rune. So this Crown is very bad in this game. 3 mana for an equipment that gives +1/+1 for 2. Alright. Opponent coming on in with Horizon Seeker, grabbing a land out of their deck. It is a snow-covered island, so they are on that 3-color Sultai stuff. And foretell a card. So you can hold up for Cosmos Charger, or you can Raven Form. We're definitely not Raven Forming. We're either playing Craven Hulk, which can't block by itself, so we're just not blocking and we're down to 13 already, or I'm holding up for Cosmos Charger. I think I'm just holding up for Cosmos Charger. Could foretell Raven Form and still do that. So I'll go ahead and do that. Still don't think I'm trying to trade Magda down. But I could trade Magda for the Horizon Seeker. If I just didn't want to foretell that turn, that would be okay. Now we've got 5 power flyers out if they don't have any combat tricks. And we get to kill their Berserker. They just have a 3-2. So we kind of just turn this into a race we're actually winning. They are just grabbing another land out of Horizon Seeker, so this might work out for us. Grabbing a snow-covered forest. We'll see if their foretold card's a Jarl. It is a Jarl. Alright, that's fair enough. Snow-covered forest. Oh, getting a lot of lands here. They're not looking so hot. Raven Form, still definitely not worth it. I guess I'm playing Craven Hulk, and now we're going to trade Magda into the Horizon Seeker. Oh my god, I'm trying to skip through my turn with the spacebar, and I forgot that the spacebar just automatically attacks through your turn. Well, now I'm just going to lose. Sometimes I really want to uninstall Arena, but we're in a pandemic, so I can't play Paper Magic. Just the fun of playing a digital game where misclicks are a thing. We're exceptionally dead kind of either way. Do get to exile Narfi, which is kind of cool, but it turns into a 1/1 flyer that trades off with Magda now, so we're in a world of hurt either way. The only way we can deal with Narfi is by exiling it, because Narfi gets to come back from the grave for triple snow. Of which they have. I mean, we just lose. I'm just going to scoop them up here, honestly. Kind of just done with sealed. I think I'm just going to play drafts until the sealed events, to be honest. I just don't really like sealed, so if I'm going to get demolished in the sealed events, in the Arena Open, in the Invitational, then whatever. Still holding up hope for draft at any point. So 2-3. Definitely not the worst record, not the worst I've ever done, but certainly not great, especially after coming off of all the 7-win drafts lately. Sealed is just not my cup of tea in general. I don't know, it just never really works out for me. Anyways, as always, that is the end of the video, so I'd like to thank you all so much for watching if you are still here. And if you'd like to see more of this content, you're at the right place. Just stick around. I do stream occasionally on Twitch when I'm just interested in playing extra Magic, so you can check that out in the link below. But otherwise, stick around, and I'll see you again for some more Magic Arena content tomorrow.